Good afternoon. This is Susan Augustin with my Facebook Live number 27, coming at you, getting closer to that 30 days. And I just want to tell you thank you for all the people that have watched and have given me feedback and have connected with me. I'm really grateful for the comments and the private messages. I've had some really meaningful conversations with a lot of you, and I'm shocked and I'm humbled by some of the stories that I've heard of some of the things that some of you have experienced in life and your reasons for wanting to succeed in your business. And it inspires me all the more to want to help you, to want to continue to give tips and reasons for how to make this work, because this is an industry that's really super easy to get into, but being one of the 3% is a lot harder than being one of the 97%. So my goal is to help as many people as possible become part of the 3% that make it in this business, that succeed in this business and do well. And a lot of people have asked me, it's funny because the way that it comes up is how many views you've gotten, but you don't know who has viewed. So I have no way of knowing who has actually watched, and I'll run into people, friends or people at church, things like that, and they'll ask me about and tell me they've been watching. And some of them have said to me, so did you have a plan? Did you have it all mapped out? And it's like, I wish I would have, but honestly, when I first started, I accepted the challenge just because I'm kind of not one to back down from a challenge. And I didn't really think through what that was going to be like for 30 days of having to continually come up with something fresh every day. And so it's been interesting, but it's been fun. And like I said, the most meaningful part is the lives that I've been able to connect with that would not have happened had I not been doing this. So what I want to talk about today is I have some unfinished business first about the thoughts. When I taught on that a few days back about taking your thoughts captive, and each day, every hour, jotting down what kind of things are going through my mind. There's one little piece that I left out, so I want to back up for just a minute and put that in, and that is that when you are just going to sleep at the end of the night, think about what kind of thoughts you're having, and have this like a little notepad by your bed and just jot it down real simply, few words. Trust me, if it's thoughts that are haunting you over and over, you'll know what those words mean. And when you first wake up in the morning, same thing. Jot down the first thing that comes to your mind. And probably what you'll notice when you first wake up is you wake up and, you're still kind of groggy and you're still kind of peaceful. And then all of a sudden, like little raindrops, but they're more like pellets of, what is that, hail or sleet? It's more like that. It starts just bombarding your mind with all the hard things that you're facing in life. Oh my gosh, this bill is due today, and oh my gosh, da 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 da. At least that's the way it used to be for me. So I'd wake up in a fairly relaxed state of peace, and then all of a sudden, all these thoughts started coming to my mind, and before I knew it, I was stressed out before the day had even started. So I would encourage you to include those two time periods when you're thinking of what are my thoughts every hour, once a day. Look at that area as well, because that's going to give you some places that you want to attack. You want to assault those areas. But getting on to what I want to talk about today, designing your life. What does it look like? Where do I start? How do I do this? So I'm just going to give you some tips. This is exactly what I did to create my dream and vision board. So here's where you want to start. You want to get to a quiet place, and I'm sorry that I keep having to lean forward and tap this. It's a long story, but anyway, you want to go to a quiet place where you aren't interrupted and you can just focus. And for me, I went to the beach, maybe your favorite coffee shop, maybe just your kind of quiet place that you go to in the house, but somewhere where you can be by yourself. And I know if you're a mom with young children, that can be difficult, but maybe during nap time or something. And when you're creating a business, it's important to give yourself time to think about where you're going, to have a vision for your life. So this is some 4 easy steps. So here we go. What you want to do is take a pen and paper, and this is what you're going to write at the top of the first page. If I could have anything, it would be ... Now on this one, it's probably going to be material things. It might be a car, a house, new carpet, a spa in your backyard. It could be anything. Just the key to doing this correctly is to not put any limits on yourself and any filters. So what you're going to be doing is essentially brainstorming. And each thought that comes into your mind, you're not going to filter it and go, yeah, but I can't do that because of this or because of... You're going to put all that aside and just give your brain permission to just dream and go for it. So, first question, if I could have anything, it would be. And just do it. The sky's the limit. If money was no object and there were no other obstacles, what would it be? Your second page, what you want to put is, if I could do anything, what would I do? And that can be anything from bungee jumping to climbing Mount Kilimanjaro to paying off my debt to putting my kids through college, some other ideas. So that one could be just about anything, to supporting an orphanage, to going on a mission trip, wherever your heart, makes your heart beat a little faster and gets you a little more excited at the thought of. Those are the things that we want to put on this list. So that's your second page. If I could do anything, what would I do? Your third page is, if I could go anywhere, where would I go? And that one's fairly self-explanatory. Europe, a favorite island, Jamaica, something like that. But the key on all of these is the more specific you get, the more effective that this is for you. So if it's Europe, okay, which country, which city? And you actually can get really inspired by, okay, London, all right, then Google things to do in London and print out or save to your phone or your computer pictures of the things that you would like to visit when you are in that country or wherever it is you choose to go. And then your last one is, if I could be anything. Now, I don't want you to confuse what I've talked about with identity. This isn't your identity, because who you are is you're valuable. My identity, I'm a much-loved child of God. That's my first identity. So these things, if I could be anything, this is some suggestions of where you're going in life career-wise, but it's not who you are, but it is what you're being, if you're following me there. So that could be, if I could be anything, what would it be? I would be a doctor, a real estate agent, a public speaker, an author, a gymnast. It could be anything, a preacher, anything that's in your heart. Just write it down. And maybe it was something that was in there from when you were a child that has gone dormant. That's okay too. Write it all down. So once you have finished, where you just write and write until the thoughts there aren't any more. And if there's any stragglers, put them on the list, because sometimes it does take a while to get in touch with what you truly want. And then what we're going to do is we're simply going to go through that list with a 1-2 method. And you're going to just compare the first one. So if I could have anything, maybe the first one was, if I could have anything, it would be fresh flowers once a week. So fresh flowers was your first thing, and your second thing was a new car. Which one of those do you want sooner, a new car or fresh flowers? And you might be thinking, well, duh, of course you're going to go for the car. Not necessarily. if you want to start out with rewarding yourself with smaller things, some people are wired that way, that's more of an encouragement to them. So if it's fresh flowers, cool. So what you're going to do with that one, if that's the one that wins the entire competition, is, okay, how much is that going to cost to be able to make that happen? And then you can work backwards. What do I get paid for each sale? How many sales would I need to be able to make this happen? That's what you're going to do for all of these. So with the fresh flowers, it's okay if you start out with a smaller goal, because every time you see that, it's going to remind you, wow, I did it. So it's okay to have it be something smaller. But what you're going to do is you're going to just go 1 and 2. Compare the fresh flowers to the new car. Which one do you want to work towards first? The one that gets a number 1 moves on and competes against the next thing. Excuse me. For example, if the new car is the one that won, then I want you to get more specific. What color? What kind? What model? And with the beauty of the internet, you can look all that up, and you really can see what it looks like on the inside, and you can get such it's really a lot easier to visualize than it used to be years ago because of the internet. So you're going to do this 1, 2, 1, 2, all the way down, and whoever number 1 is at the very end, that's going to be the winner. The one that beat out everything else, that's going to be your winner. And so from those 4 questions, you're going to be left with 4 things as your goals or your reasons for your business. And get as specific as you can on those. I went to CVS and chose pictures on the internet that matched what I was going for on my dream board and printed them out. And then I actually mounted them. I got one of those poster, the plastic, cheaply framed poster frames at Walmart, and I put my vision board inside of that and framed it big and hung it up so that I could see it and be aware of it every day, because that's the next step. Think about it every day. Step into it. This is where I'm going. This is where I'm going. And I know a lot of your whys are very heartfelt. I've listed just some more kind of surface things, but I know a lot of your whys are heartfelt. To give your family the life that you've always dreamed of giving them, to take them on a vacation because they've never been to Disneyland. So take time, reflect, think about this, and then make a list of what your dreams and your why is for your business, and it will really help you to stay the course when the going gets tough, and the tough sometimes get going and actually leave. But not you. You're going to stay, and you're going to go for it. You're going to stay the course until your dreams come to pass. So have a great day. Please keep the comments coming of your thoughts, the private messages. I love chatting with any of you that want to talk about any of the things we've talked about here. And I think that'll do it for tonight. So peace. God bless. Have a great evening. Give yourself permission to dream.